I and other peculiar stars have been talking about immigration on this channel for a while, and I just felt like it is necessary that we look at some of the things that you will need after you have moved, after you've relocated or migrated to the country in which you want to start a new life. Yes. So, what are the requirements for, first, let's start with this one. What are the requirements for relocation to a developed country from a developing country? Or sometimes you might even be in a developed country and you want to just move to another country. I guess the first thing first is you have to have a valid passport and any required visa that you need. Yes. Or whatever visa that you're interested in. So the different kinds of visa depending on where you're going to. I know of the fact that there is a student visa, there is skilled worker visa. If you're going to Canada, I know there's something called PR, permanent resident, and so there are different types. And I think there's the healthcare visa if you come into the UK. There's the entrepreneur visa. There's so different kinds of visa, but I think the best is for you to go to the various websites that the country website that you're interested in. So, for example, if you're coming to the UK, you need to go to the UKBA website. And then for Canada, you go to Canadian website. And in the USA, you go to the USA government website. So yes, first you have to have a valid passport and the required visa. And another thing that you will need is proof of sufficient funds. Yes. Oh, this one is very important because if you're moving to another country, except for there are exceptions anyway. So, for example, if you are getting married to probably someone that is already a citizen of the country in which you're moving to, I think that you might be exempted. Yeah, because obviously the person that you're moving to or the person you're getting married to who is already a citizen is established and probably have the financial backing that you need to support you pending the time you get a job or do the various things that you need. But for example, if you're a student and you're going to study, obviously you have to pay fees, you have to maintain yourself because you probably wouldn't have cost to like get from to other benefits that the citizen of the country actually are entitled to. So yes, you have to have the proof of sufficient funds, and this would vary from visa to visa or the kind of stuff that you need to do. So if you're a student visa, you probably need more because you can work more than 20 hours depending on the country, or yeah, because you spend most of your time studying. If you're going for a skilled work visa or you're going to work or permanently live in a place, you have permanent resident, or if it's the green, what do they call it now, or you want a visa lottery, or yes, whichever be the case, if you're going to go there to work, obviously. But for I would imagine that for working, for if you're going there to establish yourself and work, maybe the proof of sufficient funds might be less because it is required that okay, after a few months you get a job and you can work full time and you'll be able to maintain yourself. But for verification, just go to the website that is required. Another thing is proof of accommodation. Obviously, like you're moving to a new country, where are you going to stay? You're not just going to stay at the airport and then automatically live under the bridge. No, you can't do that. So you have to have a place to stay. Whether you're going to stay with friends, you have to have a place to stay, and you have to prove that the person that is willing to accommodate you, the person that has agreed to accommodate you, would show something to say yes, they are actually willing to accommodate you and they're going to accommodate you, whether a letter or whatever be the case. If you're going to stay in an hotel, maybe you're coming through a visitors, you're coming to visit, yes, you have to show that as well. Where are you going to stay? Which hotel are you going to stay? You have to let them know. Yes, you have to just let them know that this is where I am going to stay and everything is set. It's just for me to arrive and move into this place that I want to stay, pending the time I get my place. So, and then sometimes some people actually are opportune to like go to the to opportune to rent a place for like 6 months or 1 year. Yes, if you have the money, that's a good bargain because you pay off your rental agreement and everything before you arrive, and you can just settle in and do all the things that is required. Another thing is evidence of employment or a clear plan of finding employment in the country. Now, Let me start with the first one. The first one is evidence of employment. So now, earlier I said that there are different types of visa, and if you're a student visa, instead of evidence of employment, you should have um, something, whether the proof of studies or admission letter, unconditional admission letter, something like that, to show that yes, this university or this school or this college has agreed to give you time or has agreed to give you a place in their uni, and that's necessary. Now, for what people that are coming to work, maybe you're coming through the skilled worker visa, you're coming through the highly skilled, whatever they call it, from different countries, you have to show evidence of employment. You are telling the various the embassy that you are of the country that you're going to, that you want to come into their country to work, and for that reason you need permission. So you have to show them evidence that okay, this particular company has decided to employ me, and for that reason I am willing to take that employment, and this is it. So you have to show them your evidence that you have been employed, whether it's contract of employment and every other thing that comes with your employment letter and all that. Now the second part of this fourth requirement is a clear plan for finding employment. No, so sometimes this might not be for the embassy, so to say. It might just be for you personally. So, if, for example, you have decided to go to a country like UK, um, and you came into probably you're dependent. And honestly, you have to have a clear plan of finding employment. And even if you came in through student and you're thinking, oh, I will, in as much as I'm coming through a student visa route, I want to live in this country, I want to settle down in this country, you have to think about the potentials of you getting a job after you finish your studies. You have to start thinking about that as soon as you arrive, or even before you arrive. You know, what are the things that I need? Do I need to come out with good grades in my course? Do I need to do something to gain experience while I'm studying? And if what kind of experience do I want to gain? Do I want to get while I'm studying in order for me to give me an edge when I finish my studies? This you need to actually put into consideration, and that's what I mean by a clear plan of finding employment in the country in which you're going. And for some people who actually go through like maybe permanent resident route to Canada or maybe America. I know there are different types of visa. You have to also have a clear plan of for finding employment in those countries, because yes, you're going to this place to settle down and establish yourself. You want to have a life, you want to live. What kind of jobs are you looking for? What are you doing right now? And how can you get that job in that country? So these are the things that you need to think about. And one way that you can actually get answers some of the question is reach out to people that are already in this country. Maybe check YouTube channels or people who have talked about getting jobs in certain areas or aspects or sectors in the country in which you're going to. Another one is a clear criminal record. Honestly, right now I know that for so many kinds of visa, they ask that you get a police certificate if you're coming from a place like Nigeria. If you're in the UK, sometimes they do like a credit check or a DBS, or yeah, something to check if you have a criminal record. And I would say this is very important. I know so many people would say that they don't know what the future holds and everything, but in as much as you don't know whether you're going to be the governor of a country or the prime minister of a country or you're going to relocate, I think that it's best that you have a clear criminal record. Honestly, don't do what the laws in your country do not agree with. Yes, yes, it's as simple as that. And yeah, ensure you have a criminal record. And I know sometimes there are different situations, circumstances that you may find yourself, and maybe somebody else did something and somehow you were roped into that. Honestly, try as much as possible to clear yourself, even before you decide that you want to travel, or maybe during the time you're trying to process your traveling or every other thing. Ensure stay clear of anything criminal, in short. In developed countries, like sometimes they just don't want to. There's so many diseases that are contagious out there, so sometimes they just want to ensure that you're not bringing in something. And honestly, the pandemic also called attention, drew attention to so many things. So now sometimes, depending on which country you're going to, you have to show that you're being vaccinated, or you have to show that you're clear of COVID. You have to show that you do not have tuberculosis, or that you're clear of it, and so many other different kinds of stuff. Different countries have different criteria or different requirements. Honestly, I would say for this one, check again the country that you're going to on your website, the requirement, check everything, make sure you read everything. It's not too much of a hassle to get you right the first time. Honestly, just make sure you read everything and do all the criminal checks and check yourself. If you have, let's say, for example, you've got TB, or you find out that you've got one ailment or the other that you need to show clear of, that you're clear of, I think the best is just try as much as possible to get treatment and do all the things that is necessary to get yourself cleared. I don't know if that would deter you from entering the country. I really am not sure, but just get treatment. It's good for you as well. Sometimes people don't even do health checkups in developing countries until a particular country they're traveling to asks them to do it, and then they realize they've got one ailment or the other. So even at that point, when you check and you realize you have it, even if they deter you, but it means that you have to do an health check, and it means that you can actually be proactive and clear yourself, get treatment, and be physically fit and every other thing. And I think that that's a good one anyway. And lastly but not the least, some countries may also require medical examination or vaccination records. Yes, and I think that that's been like a criteria since 2019, if I'm correct. And when COVID was like everywhere and everything. So yes, make sure you get your vaccination if you have to, and if you don't have to, I think it's not necessarily like a major compulsory right now for entry certain countries. It's not really um a major issue. And if you don't have to, maybe because of religious reasons or anything, I think they give exemptions, and you just have to state the exemptions why you do want to take it or why you haven't taken it. Yes. These are the 7 things that I have listed as requirements for relocation to a developed country. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with everything, or yes, that's just everything? Just let me know what you think. And if I have any other information, I'll definitely let you know in the description box. And for any question, honestly, just pop it in the sorry, for any question, make sure you just comment and I will answer your questions. Again, I would say remember to like, remember to subscribe, and also share. Thank you.